8 o'clock. Tonight, the largest gathering of global leaders at the late Queen of England's funeral at Westminster Abbey. President Draupadi Murmu represented India at the funeral along with other global leaders like the US President Joe Biden and his wife. We'll have the full coverage of that on NDTV. Our top headlines tonight. The first big headline, of course, is that Shashi Tharoor has met Sonia Gandhi and got the go-ahead to contest the Congress presidential elections. Official confirmation on NDTV that Shashi Tharoor will stand for Congress president. There are likely to be other candidates, but Rahul Gandhi will not be contesting the Congress presidential elections. President Murmu joins leaders at the Queen's funeral, the biggest gathering of global leaders at this funeral. The entire royal family unites in grief today as London shuts down. The world watches live coverage. Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee's bombshell in the State Assembly. It's not Modi's fault. The misuse of the CBI ED businessman fleeing India, but Prime Minister Modi not responsible, says arch rival Mamta Banerjee, adding that the CBI reports the Home Ministry, not the PMO. The BJP says Mamta Banerjee is trying to save her nephew by praising the Prime Minister. Ex-Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh officially joins the BJP. His son and daughter also joined the BJP. His wife is still a Congress MP. Meanwhile, Congress leader Kamal Nath says, let whoever wants to go, go. I will lend my car to those who leave. Was Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann drunk and offloaded from a Lufthansa flight in Frankfurt? Untrue, says AAP. Now the opposition versus Bhagwant Mann for this flight delay and offloading, but Lufthansa says the delay was because of technical reasons and passenger details are confidential. The Army Day parade to be shifted out of Delhi next January. This because the government believes, according to Army sources, that Army Day celebrations should be across the country. This is the first time the parade will be held outside Delhi. The first multiplex to open again in Kashmir tomorrow as makeshift cinema halls come up in the valley. A cautious response, however, to these halls opening. $25 crore lottery win for a Kerala auto rickshaw driver. Meet the lucky winner on NDTV. Our breaking story tonight, it is now confirmed that Shashi Tharoor, Congress leader, will be contesting the Congress presidential elections. He won't be the only candidate, but what does this mean? So is Rahul Gandhi now not going to be contesting? More on the details of that meeting that Shashi Tharoor had with the Congress current president, Sonia Gandhi. Vasu?
Thanks very much indeed, Sonia. Yes, this is our big breaking news coming in tonight that the Congress party will have its first election for the post of top boss in over 2 decades. Sources confirming to us that Shashi Tharoor met Sonia Gandhi earlier today, essentially to get a no objection certificate from the Congress president to go ahead and throw his hat in the ring for the Congress presidential elections, which are scheduled to take place next month. It is believed that he got the go ahead. In fact, sources telling us that Mrs. Gandhi was encouraging of Shashi Tharoor, saying that the Gandhis would like to see a election, that they would like to see a fair and free contest. In fact, sources telling us that the indication that Mr. Tharoor got was that there will not be what is called a quote-unquote sponsored candidate. In other words, there will not be a Gandhi-backed candidate. So Shashi Tharoor, in a sense, has been given the sense that this will not be quote-unquote a doctored election. Of course, this also means, as you pointed out, that Rahul Gandhi now unlikely to contest. So that was again an apprehension on Shashi Tharoor's mind, that he would not be keen to be seen contesting against a Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi, big question mark over whether he was going to contest or not. But the indication coming in that he's not contesting, yes.
Because Rahul Gandhi currently in Kerala, he attended the snake boat race today, so we can see those pictures. So that really reflects the kind of paradox or that we're seeing for these Congress presidential elections. Because one, the point you made that there's going to be no official candidate, which means a Gandhi-backed candidate. Now, there's a lot of speculation. Ashok Gehlot was the Gandhi's choice. Two, the point is that will it now be a free-for-all, or is there still likely to be an establishment candidate? And with Rahul Gandhi leading a Bharat Joro Yatra, wouldn't any Congress president just be a figurehead in a sense?
Well, Sonia, these are all interesting questions. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Given the fact that Shashi Tharoor has got the go-ahead, is that going to embolden others to throw their hat in the ring? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think we can rule out the possibility that there will be a candidate who, in a sense, will be quote-unquote the official candidate. Ashok Gehlot seems to be the most likely candidate. But at the same time, what we're reporting at this hour is the kind of message that was given, according to sources, to Shashi Tharoor, that is going to be unlikely. Also, Sonia, remember, during this meeting, apparently it did come up that a number of state units, state unit after state unit, as you know, have been passing resolutions saying that Rahul Gandhi should be made Congress president. This is apparently something that did come up in the meeting, but according to sources, Sonia Gandhi responded saying this is not being done at the behest of the Gandhis. They are not encouraging this. They don't know where this is coming from. So once again, the signal from the top is that they're keen to see a contest. They have no objection to Shashi Tharoor contesting. Rahul Gandhi not contesting. Who will contest against Tharoor? That remains to be seen, but it certainly does now make for an interesting election.
How much of that can be taken at face value? Because the fact that, as you pointed out, that state unit after state unit is passing resolution, if the Gandhis didn't want them to do that, a clear message could have gone out saying don't do that. And again, the information that our reporters have confirmed that Ashok Gehlot has been spoken to. So at face value, can this all be taken right now?
Very valid question, Sonia. We'll have to wait and see how it actually pans out, because it's quite possible, as you know, in politics, that you say one thing while actually doing another. So is there going to be a genuine commitment to ensure it's a free and fair election, or will it become an Ashok Gehlot versus Shashi Tharoor election where the signal will be sent out that Ashok Gehlot is very much the quote-unquote official candidate, thereby ensuring him a fairly comfortable win? All of that is something that we'll have to wait and see. But I think at least the needle has moved one step forward, where you actually have, as I mentioned at the outset, the first time there's been a contest, or there's going to be a contest in 22 years. The last time was when the late Jitendra Prasada, as you know, took on Sonia Gandhi and was roundly trounced in the year 2000. Now you're going to see another contest, but exactly the mechanics of it. Will it be Ashok Gehlot? Will he get the, in a sense, the official blessing of the Gandhi Parivar? All of that remains to be seen. Again, Sonia, just to qualify here, because as you know, in politics there are also ifs and buts. There are still a few days left before the closing, or the opening and the closing of the nomination. Sources close to Shashi Tharoor saying he is very much inclined in that direction, still kind of weighing his options. So we'll have to see how it goes down at the last minute. But at the moment, it does appear that the Congress president post is set for an election with Shashi Tharoor at least emerging as one of the candidates.
Right, and obviously that opens the field. The field is now wide open, because the Shashi Tharoor contest, many other Congress leaders may well put the hat in the ring, which they may not have if Rahul Gandhi had said that he was standing for president. So let's see interesting developments ahead for the Congress party. But let's also now go across to the event that the world has been watching, the funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth II. It began early this morning, Indian time, when the Queen's lying in state ended. Let's just look at that funeral, which is where the United Kingdom shut down today in memory of their beloved Queen as the world watched live coverage. At 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time, the Queen's lying in state ended. Then Westminster Abbey, where the funeral service was held, opened for the congregation. Now this, of course, a congregation which is about 2,000 people. It included global leaders, it included the royal family, royals from across the world. So we saw there again the royal family uniting in grief at that state funeral at Westminster Abbey. The United Kingdom also observed a 2-minute silence for the late Queen. India represented by President Draupadi Murmu.
Westminster Abbey, London's most historic church's bell, tolled once a minute for 96 minutes. for each year of the Queen's life, setting the tone for the grand state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II.
An extremely emotional moment for people in Britain because she has ruled for 70 years. So a lot of people don't even know of another monarch in their lifetime.
US President Joe Biden, President of France Emmanuel Macron, India's President Draupadi Murmu were among hundreds of world leaders who joined the grieving King Charles III and his family at the funeral services.
Here, where Queen Elizabeth was married and crowned, from the Commonwealth and from the nations of the world, to mourn our loss, to remember her long life of selfless service, and in sure confidence to commit her to the mercy of God, our Maker and Redeemer.
Trumpets fell silent and horses stood still as the entire nation observed 2 minutes of silence at the end of the funeral service. In what was the grandest possible British procession, 147 Royal Navy sailors pulled the gun carriage carrying the coffin. Following the coffin was the royal family led by King Charles III, followed by Prince of Wales William in uniform. Queen Camilla and Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales, followed in a car. The other family members, including Meghan Markle, were also in the procession.
It's very sad, very moving. Just can't believe she's not with us anymore. God bless her.
The outpour of grief and affection over the last few days reveals Queen Elizabeth II was not just the longest serving monarch for 70 years. She was the beloved queen for Britons. Britain's second Elizabethan era ends today. In a private burial ceremony with just the royals, the Queen will be buried next to her late husband, Prince Philip, in her favourite home, Windsor Castle. King Charles' coronation will take place in spring 2023. Radhika Iyer in London, NDTV.
Let's go across live now to Radhika in London. Radhika, you've been tracking this funeral, and of course the final procession will also happen soon, where the royal family will follow the Queen's coffin for that private ceremony. Tell us today, Great Britain shut down today. There was a 2-minute silence. It's also about a nation coming together in grief.
Sonia, that's exactly what people here, mourners here, are saying to me, that this was an opportunity for Britain to come together, and the Queen has done that more than once in her lifetime, and even now. I have with me people who have come from the Midlands. What is your thought at the moment?
I just think she was an amazing diplomat. Now we've had time to reflect and we've heard all these stories, you realise just how much she really did.
The royal family said that they are overwhelmed. They knew she was popular, but didn't quite realise how popular and how loved she was. What about her makes you feel so compelled to be here today?
I just thought for 70 years of her reign that whatever the question was, I never knew what her answer was, but I always thought she had the right answer. And she always gave that air that she knew everything that was right, even though we probably never knew what the answers that she gave. So it was just very reassuring.
Okay, very reassuring. Priya, you have been here for the funeral. You were here through the days of 11 days of mourning before the funeral. Tomorrow, day after, the news of the cost of living crisis will be back in the front page. What is the role of the monarch going forward? What do you think Britons would feel about the new changes that are going to come?
So the English poet T.S. Eliot said, "At the still the dance is." Queen Elizabeth in her 70-year reign was really the still point for this nation and an icon of steadfastness no matter what the tumult around in the country. I feel the last 10 days has seen how this country has come together in mourning. And today was not just an opportunity to quieten our grief, but also an opportunity to celebrate the people, the great nation, our late monarch and the monarchy. So it is for Prince Charles to keep that still point going, and for us to continue to unite in the emulation of Her Majesty's still point and know we'll get through this.
Okay, and make people feel they'll get through it. The only difference being it's not Prince Charles, it's King Charles now. So it will take some time, Sonia, for people to get used to the fact that Britain now has a king, as they did the anthem of God Save the King just after the 2-minute silence that was observed just after the funeral.
Of course, Radhika, while the world is watching today's funeral live coverage, the point is that many questions being raised now about the future of the Commonwealth and the return of treasure taken by the UK colonial regime, including the Kohinoor and South African diamonds. So let's see how that plays out with the Queen not there. But thanks so much for that update live from London. The other big political headlines, well, Mamta Banerjee's surprise statement in the West Bengal Assembly, where she said Prime Minister Modi was not responsible for recent CBI ED raids, because of which the businessmen are fleeing the country, saying the CBI doesn't come under the Prime Minister's office but the Home Ministry. So what are the larger implications of that? Here's what the BJP's Suvendu Adhikari said.
না না উনি চেষ্টা করে যাচ্ছেন নিজে বাঁচতে ভাইপোকে বাঁচাতে উনি অনেক কথা বলছিলেন আমি তো আপনাকে প্রশ্ন করেছি আপনার ছবিগুলো তখনই তো মুখ থেকে তুই বেরিয়ে এসেছে এই যে হর্ষ নেওটিয়া সঞ্জয় কুদিয়া এরা যে ছবিগুলো কিনেছেন এই ছবিগুলো এত টাকা দিয়ে কেনা হয়েছে কেন
So Mamta Banerjee's surprise statements coming in the West Bengal Assembly as a resolution is being passed against this actually, Saurabh. So you were in the Assembly, you heard what Mamta Banerjee said. What is the larger implications of a senior opposition leader saying this in a way, as some analysts are saying, going soft on the Prime Minister?
Absolutely, Sonia. That's how it's being interpreted. In fact, if you see over the last last few weeks, the Trinamool Congress has really kept the Prime Minister out of the attack and more so focused on the Union Home Minister Amit Shah when it comes to central agencies. In fact, they've worn T-shirts that also have a caricatured picture of the Union Home Minister. Mamta Banerjee today, of course, took it a step further when it comes to the complaint against misuse of central agencies by passing that resolution in the Assembly. But she also reiterated that point that, look, the ED CBI doesn't report to the PMO. And obviously, with so many businessmen being worried about this misuse of central agencies, I'm sure Prime Minister Modi wouldn't have done it. Now, that, of course, led to a lot of interpretations and, how that comment is being seen is that she seems to be absolving the Prime Minister of any responsibility when it comes to misuse of central agencies. The BJP is saying this is a ploy that will fail. She's trying her best to save her nephew and herself. But, of course, again, the BJP going back to businessmen buying paintings. So all of this is in the context of perhaps targeting the Union Home Minister and going soft on the Prime Minister.
Right, but in the road to 2024, we're likely to see many more interesting developments. The opposition, no front so far, but likely to also have been caught off guard by this remark by West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee. Meanwhile, the other story making headlines is about the opposition in Punjab, including the Akalis and the BJP and the Congress, claiming that Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann was drunk and was not allowed to board a Lufthansa flight in Frankfurt, leading to a 4-hour delay of the flight. However, the AAP has responded saying this is not true, and Lufthansa issued a statement saying that the flight was delayed because of technical reasons. On asked on whether the Chief Minister was actually drunk, they said all passenger details are confidential.
Accused of being drunk again, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann this time allegedly thrown off a Lufthansa flight from Frankfurt to Delhi. Akali Dal President Sukhbir Badal tweeted, disturbing media reports quoting co-passengers say that Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann was deplaned from Lufthansa flight as he was too drunk to walk, and it led to a 4-hour flight delay. He missed Aam Aadmi Party's national convention. These reports have embarrassed and shamed Punjabis all over the globe.
It is a major embarrassment to the whole nation. ਕਿ ਕੀ ਜੇ ਗੱਲ ਸਾਬਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਕੇਜਰੀਵਾਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਕਿਸਮ ਦਾ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਣ।
Mr. Pratap Singh Bajwa has written to the Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia seeking an inquiry into the alleged incident. Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Ehbab Singh Grewal on NDTV categorically denied that Mr. Bhagwant Mann was drunk.
I don't think we need to give an explanation on this. This is nothing but a cheap antics by the Congress. His delay has been explained by Lufthansa itself.
Lufthansa has said that the flight was delayed by the airline due to a delayed inbound flight and an aircraft change. This is not the first time Mr. Mann has been accused of appearing in public drunk. He took a vow to never drink again at an Aam Aadmi Party event in 2019 with his mother by his side. Mann, in an interview to NDTV ahead of the Punjab polls, said that he had no drinking problems.
उनके पास और कुछ है ही नहीं बोलने को शरद जी, मतलब कोई मेरे पे करप्शन नहीं कर सकते, कोई मेरे पे कोई ईडी नहीं भेज सकते, इनकम टैक्स नहीं भेज, तो साफ सुथरी इमेज 11 साल से कह रहे हैं। उसके बाद तो पब्लिक ने मुझे इतनी बड़ी बड़ी जीत दी है, तो मतलब ये तो सब इनका बेसलेस बातें हैं।
The opposition had brought up Bhagwant Mann's drinking problem during the Punjab polls as well. And now it has surfaced again, 6 months after he became the Chief Minister of Punjab. With Mohammad Ghazali, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.
And AAP is today hitting out at the ex-Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh, who joined the BJP today, saying that he had worked with the BJP and RSS earlier. Amarinder Singh joined the BJP officially today after his party did badly in alliance with the BJP in the recent state elections. His son and daughter also joined, though his wife is still a Congress MP.
And I must actually mention, I'm sorry I didn't mention a very dear colleague of mine, Sunil Jakhatji, who's we have worked together for so many years now, and only regret is when he went, he should have taken me along with him. He went to कि ये जरूरी है कि जो हस्बैंड करे वही वाइफ करे।
देखिए, कोई जाता है कांग्रेस से, आप क्या समझते हैं कांग्रेस खत्म हो गई? अभी तुम पूछ रहे थे कि कोई लोग जाना चाह रहे हैं, मैंने कहा बिल्कुल जाएं, जिसको जाना है जाएं, हम किसी को रोकना नहीं चाहते। अगर वो जाना चाहते हैं, अपना भविष्य सोचते हैं और विचार बीजेपी से मिलते हैं, मैं तो उनको अपनी मोटर दूंगा, जाइए आप मेरी कार में जाइए।
Well, in a quick look at other news, the Army Day parade will shift out of Delhi next year, according to official sources. This will be shifted out of Delhi next year, probably in the south. This because sources say the government feels that Army Day celebrations should be pan-India and not restricted just to New Delhi. Army Day is celebrated in recognition of the first Indian Commander-in-Chief taking over, General Cariappa, and it's normally conducted on the Cariappa Parade Ground in Delhi. The Kashmir Valley's first multiplex will open again after decades tomorrow. This as makeshift cinema halls have come up across the valley, though today the response was muted. There is some excitement on multiplexes and cinema halls coming back to the valley.
In the militancy-hit area of Pulwama, a movie theatre opened after 30 years. That's how long not one film has been played in a theatre in Kashmir. Now, the government says that such makeshift theatres will be opened in every district across Jammu and Kashmir.
It's essentially a counselling centre which has been turned into a makeshift cinema hall. A day after its grand inauguration by Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, the hall is closed and nobody has turned up here.
मिशन यूथ के अंतर्गत जम्मू कश्मीर के हर जिले में मल्टीपर्पज सिनेमा हॉल बनाने का एक फैसला हुआ था। आज उसमें से 2, एक पुलवामा, एक सोपैया की जनता को समर्पित किया गया है। आने वाले दिनों में हर जिले में ये सुविधा उपलब्ध करा दी जाएगी ताकि नौजवान इसका लाभ उठा सकें।
While this is a makeshift arrangement, students who came here yesterday said that it was a very special occasion.
तो बाहर जाना पड़ता था ऐसा कुछ देखने के लिए, बट यहाँ पे भी ऐसी चीज़ें तो एक्सेसिबल होगा ये सिनेमा हमारे लिए, और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने बहुत ऐसे स्टेप लिया। ऐसे स्टेप आई वुड लाइक कि वो कंटिन्यू करें, ऐसे स्टेप्स लेना जिनसे यहाँ के बच्चों को भी एक्सपोजर मिले।
But soon, multiplexes are also expected to come up in Kashmir. Cinemas were shut by militants in 1989 as a part of extremist Islamist ideology to deprive people of any sort of entertainment. Even after a few cinemas were reopened in Srinagar, they had to be shut again either because of terror threats or due to the absence of cinema goers. Now, this man, Vijay Dhar, is opening the first multiplex in Kashmir, which will start with a special screening tomorrow.
So we want to revive that. We want to revive the connection of Bollywood and Kashmir. We also want to give full entertainment to our children, to our students, to our elderly.
After more than 30 years, this is first serious attempt to revive cinema in Kashmir. Kashmir's first multiplex is opening tomorrow with a special screening of Lal Singh Chadda. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
Well, good news of the day. Imagine buying a ticket for a lottery on Saturday evening and winning a 25 crore jackpot on Sunday. Here's the story of this lucky auto rickshaw driver.
Anup holding up his trump card, the lottery ticket that has won him a Onam bumper jackpot of 25 crore rupees. Banks are now queuing up to woo him.
എൻ്റെ പേര് അനൂപാണ്. എനിക്കത് ലോട്ടറി അടിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഞാൻ 22 വയസ്സോട്ട് ലോട്ടറി എടുത്ത് തുടങ്ങിയാണ്. ധാരാളം ലോട്ടറി എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഇടയ്ക്ക് വെച്ച് സെയിം കുറേ എടുത്തായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോഴേ വൈഫ് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു എടുക്കണ്ട, കുറേ പൈസ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് പോയെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ലാസ്റ്റ് പിന്നെ ഞാൻ പുറത്തോട്ട് പോകാൻ നിൽക്കണമെന്നാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ലോട്ടറി എടുത്തത്. അതാണ് പഠിച്ചത്. വളരെയേറെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്.
The 30-year-old from Thiruvananthapuram says he has been buying lottery tickets since he was 22. The ticket that changed his destiny was bought the very last minute on Saturday, pulling in money taken out of his children's piggy bank.
ഞാൻ പറയും ചുമ്മാ ഇത്രയും ലോട്ടറി എടുത്ത് സെയിം ഒക്കെ കാണുമ്പോഴായിരിക്കും എടുത്ത് പൈസ കളയണ്ട, എടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ 1-2 ലോട്ടറി എടുക്കുക, രണ്ടിൽ കൂടുതൽ ലോട്ടറി ചുമ്മാ എടുക്കണ്ടെന്ന് പറയും. അപ്പോൾ ലോട്ടറി അടിച്ചപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ചേട്ടനത് തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞു, നീ എടുത്ത് എടുക്കണ്ടെന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞത് ലോട്ടറി.
The auto driver had just been sanctioned a 3 lakh rupees bank loan to travel to Malaysia to work as a chef. But those plans are now cancelled.
Malaysia പോവാമെന്ന് കടങ്ങളൊക്കെ വീട്ടാന്നും പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് നിന്ന്. ഇപ്പം പിന്നെ ഇപ്പം പോണില്ല.
The Kerala government lotteries program earns for the government over 80% of its non-tax revenue. This year, there was record sales of 66.5 lakh lottery tickets, each costing 500 rupees. With SP Babu in Thiruvananthapuram, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.